If you're managing a growing business, there's a pretty good chance that you're having to juggle cash flow with making investments in your business's growth. Or you're thinking about making a hire and you're not sure if now's the right time to go ahead and do that. Or maybe you've advanced so far into your business that you're now thinking about taking on investors, possibly going public, or maybe even considering the sale of your business. These are all times when a fractional CFO can really make a difference in your ability to continue navigating these delicate financial waters. My name's James Masotti, and I'm the owner of Our Team Accounting. And on this channel, I am passionate about helping business owners achieve their personal and professional goals through intentional financial planning. All right, so you might be thinking to yourself, what exactly does a fractional CFO do, and why would I actually want one of those? You might be thinking to yourself that you've already got a bookkeeper, and isn't that enough? Well, a fractional CFO is somebody who has a specialized skill set that allows them to look at the numbers and figure out a plan forward, whereas the people that are doing your bookkeeping are really just focused on clearing your expenses and being able to report back to you what you've been doing historically. It's really this forward-looking perspective that allows fractional CFOs to help out with things like profit optimization, looking at your pricing models, looking at cash flow and how you can improve that, as well as things along the lines of budgeting, what would the impacts be if you raised capital, planning for potential exits, and how to make sure that your prior 3-year financials are really supporting an optimization of the amount of money that your business is ultimately going to fetch at sale. You can really think about the fractional CFO as the person in your business that is really going to be helping you navigate the waters that are coming ahead of you based on things that have been going on in the past. They're going to be able to help you with challenging discussions about when is the right time to hire folks, or when's the right time to let people go. Where do you need to expand? Where are you spending too much money, and where are you not spending enough money? And they're going to be able to put this into context for you based on industry norms, based on small business norms, and just in general based on the goals that you have as a business owner as well. Ultimately, at the end of the day, a fractional CFO is there to help make sure that you can sleep better knowing where your business is heading from a financial perspective. You may be asking yourself, how do I know if my business is ready for a fractional CFO? And the answer to that is going to be, it depends on business to business. There are some businesses that are smaller that are in the process of raising capital because they have a major opportunity for quick growth and acceleration. And those businesses may need a fractional CFO to help them plan that process out. It may be that you've been in business for a number of years and you're starting to think about expansion and opening up new locations, or how to go about navigating a new phase of growth, because there tends to be plateaus in a lot of businesses. Growing to $1 million, $3 million, 5, 10 are just some of the thresholds that are pretty common to see. These thresholds really center around major investments, oftentimes with team members and when to go about hiring, or changes in your financial model because you now have more overhead expense than what you've previously had. And are you properly absorbing that cost into your pricing in such a way that you're able to stay profitable? As you're expanding beyond working with friends and family and local businesses or retail consumers, you may be starting to get into larger projects where you're starting to deal with supplier terms, or with customers who are putting you on net 30 or 45 or 60 plus day terms. And you're now starting to have cash flow problems and you don't know how to tweak and change those things, or what the right amount of cash reserves in your business might be. These are just some of the examples of the different types of changes that can really be coming in a business's future where you would want to consider bringing on an outsourced CFO. At the end of the day, if you have any major change that you are anticipating in the next 3 years, it might be a good opportunity to at least engage in some sort of exploratory conversation with somebody to see when they think the right triggers for you would be to be able to bring somebody on an interim basis. So now that we've talked through some of the things that may prompt you to want to hire a fractional CFO, if you've made the decision to do it, let's talk about some of the things that you should consider when going forward and evaluating who would be a good candidate to consider for the role. In this scenario, I would say the first and foremost thing to think about is whether or not they're going to be a good fit for your organization. This is somebody that you're going to be providing a lot of detailed information to about your personal and your business's financial situation. You want to make sure that you're going to be comfortable communicating with that person on sensitive topics. They may be asking questions about key team members and what are sacred cows in your business and what are you willing to compromise on and not compromise on. And if you don't feel comfortable having all of those conversations very open and honestly with that individual, that's automatically not going to be the right fit for you to consider that person. Beyond that initial fit conversation, you want to get a sense of what their background is. If it's somebody who's only ever dealt with Fortune 500 companies, or maybe they worked for a large public accounting company and now they're starting to work with small business owners, do they really understand what you have going on? In those larger corporate environments, it's very common to talk about financials in a very technical, very raw, lots of acronym kind of situations. And as a business owner, most people don't live and die by their financials and are not used to getting into detailed financial metrics and things along those lines. So you really want to understand what your communication style is and whether or not the person that you're talking to is really going to be able to communicate with you in a way that is going to make sense for you. While hiring somebody with industry expertise is a really great thing, it's not necessarily always required. Take a look at publicly traded companies as an example. Folks go from industry to industry on publicly traded companies all the time, and those full-time professional CFOs are able to navigate that without any issue. So it is a thing where no matter what, if the person has the ability to dig into your financial data, ask questions about your business model, and learn what's going on, that is going to be the number one priority. But if you get all of those same things and they also have industry specialization or knowledge about your particular industry, that's only going to help speed up their learning curve for them to be able to add value to you at the end of the day. So now that we've figured out how they're going to be able to assist you, you now need to say, where am I going to go and find one of these folks? So the first place that you probably are going to go looking, just like you do for any other hire or any other professional that you're going to, is your network of trusted advisors. So these could be folks that are in your community, folks that are in your industry. If you're a part of any associations, there's a lot of great folks that live in this fractional CFO space that tend to hang out in all of those spaces. Getting that recommendation where somebody knows you, your personality style, where you're able to communicate what you're looking for, is going to be a really great way to get a referral that's more likely going to be able to meet your needs than just simply going to the old yellow pages and looking somebody up. Another place that you could go ahead and look would be within your existing accounting professionals. A key theme within this video series has been how there are different people who specialize in different aspects within the accounting space. But that said, a lot of organizations will have folks that do multiple different things. They may have folks who are doing the advisory or fractional CFO work, who are different than the accounting work, who are different than the tax work. And some of those people may have the skills and capabilities of doing all of them, but you don't want to discount the fact that they may do that, but you also don't want to bank and guarantee that they're doing so. Whether or not you're willing to have multiple accounting solution providers is ultimately something that you will have to decide on, but especially for small businesses, it's a reality that you're probably going to have to deal with unless you ultimately decide that you want to pay a higher price to work with one of the larger firms where they have a larger team of folks in-house with those different specializations. Another way that you can go ahead and you can find folks is through online portals like TopTool and Paro and CFO Connect, or even on a website like Upwork. These are all places where folks that are fractional CFOs can be hired and subcontracted out. And so if you haven't had success looking on any of those other platforms, those are some great places to go and look as well. The spectrum of services and skills that you will get from those are going to be quite diverse, just like anything else. But if that's the direction that you choose to go, at least as a first pass to see what else is out there and what is available in the market, then that's oftentimes a good place to get started with your data collection at the bare minimum. As you've now started to explore looking for your fractional CFO, you are eventually going to start coming across the question that everybody has on their mind: what is this going to cost me? Fractional CFOs are certainly not cheap. In terms of what you're going to ultimately pay for accounting services, they are absolutely going to be on the high end of the market. With that said, the vast majority of things in today's day and age are going to be retainer-based fixed fee contracts. And for those, you could pay anywhere from $2,000 a month all the way up to $10,000+ a month. Again, depending on the size of your company, the engagement itself, how frequently you're going to be meeting, and how many hours that person is going to be spending on your business every single month. In addition to those fixed fee arrangements, it is possible that you may find folks who are willing to do per hour consulting arrangements. And for those, you should probably expect to spend anywhere from $200 to $500 an hour. By the time that you're looking to hire a fractional CFO, hopefully these price tags don't necessarily completely scare you away. The reason that you're thinking about hiring one of these individuals is you're navigating some things that are going to be really big and significant financially for your business. So you really want to think about these as investments with a return on investment. And as you calculate that return on investment, you want to really think about what are the potential upsides and downsides by not having the proper insurance, basically, to support your business during that next stage of growth. Having somebody there, whether you're trying to get additional financing, whether you're trying to go through a loan package, whether you are trying to navigate employee issues, bringing on new technology, any number of things can become very costly very quickly if you don't have somebody that can potentially help navigate you through that process. That being said, you should be aware of your budget. I'm not saying that you should have an unlimited budget and that the more that you pay for services, the bigger the payoff is going to be for you. Like anything else, there are good folks in this industry. There are folks who are not necessarily the best, and there are simply those who just fail to deliver on the value that they promise. Really, the fractional CFO marketplace is no different than anybody else, and that's why I put a lot of emphasis on making sure that you are building a great relationship and getting referrals from folks when possible. So what are some of the red flags that you should be looking out for when hiring a fractional CFO? I would say one of the first things is people who overpromise and underdeliver. And you might ask yourself, how can I see that? The simple answer is, if it sounds too good to be true, there's a pretty good chance that it is. And while you want to check whether or not that's based on your own perception of what should be capable versus what the market has available for. So I would definitely say you can go on places like Facebook groups, you can go on places like Reddit. There are any number of forums where you can go and you can ask questions where people will tell you what their experiences are with fractional CFOs. Another thing that you want to be on the lookout for is somebody who has a lack of transparency. If they're not willing to share with you what they're doing and why they're doing it, or how they're benefiting you, or whether or not they're going to be able to share their spreadsheets and their information with you, or what software tools they're using, these are all things that they should be willing to share so that you know kind of how they're coming about the answers that they're coming to. Another thing that might be a red flag for you, depending on your situation, is whether or not the person has industry expertise. As mentioned, this isn't always required depending on your situation, but you may be navigating some very unique challenges to your industry, where having somebody who maybe has already been through that is going to be really important. So again, knowing the scope of what you need and are looking for, and whether or not you're going to 100% need that person, is important to understand and be on the lookout for. Now that you're equipped with everything that you need to hire a fractional CFO, there's a good chance that an auditor is the next role that you're going to need to fill. In this video, we're going to go through why this is critical for your business, so click it and I'll see you there.